Hello everyone, this is Iran Talk, and in this video I'd like to revisit the threat posed to Iran by the Hazara migrants. In other words, the primary objective of this analysis is to prove that the Hazaras pose a major existential threat to the Iranian people, and if their migration to Iran goes unmitigated, then there will be a lot of problems for the future of Iran. In fact, in the context of this recent Hazara invasion, the Hazara people can be compared to rats as both leech off of their host societies and multiply at rapid rates. For this reason, like-minded Iranians as well as Iranian nationalists should consider the Hazara people no better than rats. In fact, as many of you may know, these Hazaras are the direct descendants of the Mongol invaders who ravaged and destroyed Iran during the medieval period. And this is the primary reason for my comparison of the Hazara people to rats. Now, one of the individuals most responsible for the Hazara invasion of Iran is Ali Khamenei, the supreme leader of Iran, and he has not done anything to stop the Hazaras from overwhelming Iran and coming in large numbers to the Iranian plateau, and he has in fact accepted them as citizens as well as Iranians. Thus, all Iranian nationalists should hold Khamenei accountable for the Hazara invasion. And to illustrate how the regime utilizes the Mongol invaders under the leadership of Khamenei to replace Iranians and maim and threaten them out of their livelihoods and destroy their resilience against the Iranian regime, here is an image from one of the stadiums in Tehran, and you can see that the majority of the crowd here is of Hazara descent and of not indigenous Iranian descent, meaning that the Hazaras are being utilized against the Iranian people by the regime. This gathering was actually hosted by the Iranian regime in Tehran's Azadi Stadium. And once again, very few Iranians came out to this demonstration, as most Iranians don't care about Palestinians. They care about their nation, their Volk, their people, and this is completely against the spirit of Iran and the Iranian people. And I know that the Iranian people are very resilient and capable of overthrowing this regime, but not only that, also reversing the Hazara migration, or should I say invasion. Now here is another image, and once again you can see that these individuals are from the Fatimiyu Brigade, which is a Hazara Shia militia that fights for Assad in Syria. From this image you can see that they are part of the regime's plan to replace the indigenous Iranian people with Hazara migrants to deter any sort of revolution, which I feel is critical for Iran if Iran is to move forward. Thus, the Hazaras are enemies of Iranians, and they've been put in this position by the regime. But not only that, historically they were also enemies of Iranians and should not be trusted. The regime's hatred for the Iranian people is well reflected by this article from the Jerusalem Post. So the article was titled Hezbollah Iraqi Hushed al-Shabi Helping Iran Quash Protests. What this means is that much like the Fatimiyu Brigade, the Iranian government is also using Hezbollah as well as Iraqi militias to deter the revolution that's coming and to discourage Iranians from protesting against the government. Moving on, you can see that this is another image, and once again you can see very Mongoloid features for these Hazaras in Iran. So the Hazaras not only support the Fatimiyu Brigade and the government, but they also support Hezbollah, which is a major terrorist organization. For this reason, all Iranians should harbor nothing but disgust and contempt for the Hazara people, as they are clearly the enemy of Iranians and do not even belong in Iran. In fact, in my last video I discussed how Iranian patriots are resisting the Hazara invasion, and while I do not call for violence and am opposed to violence, I think that the Hazaras need to be expelled from Iran due to their current and historical hatred for Iranians. Even after all of this, the Hazaras as well as other Afghans have the audacity to claim that they built Iran, as illustrated by this Reddit comment. This is no further from the truth, as historically the Hazaras and other Afghans have destroyed Iran multiple times. On the phenotypic level, you can see these are Hazara men and they look Mongoloid and do not look Iranian. For this reason, they are not Iranians and cannot be considered to be Iranians. Here is another Hazara crowd, and once again you can see overwhelming Mongoloid features. Moving on, here are some Hazara women, and you can see that they have very Mongoloid features and clearly are not Iranians and do not belong in Iran and should stay in Hazara, which is their homeland located in central Afghanistan. Though keep in mind that the original homeland of the Mongols is Mongolia, and this is well illustrated by this manuscript dating to the medieval period. As you can see, the medieval Mongols were clearly Asiatic Mongoloid peoples. And these Mongols migrated to central Afghanistan, killing off all of the male population and enslaving the women, and from this union they produced the Hazaras. Thus, the Hazaras are indeed historical enemies of Iranians. Moving on, you can see that this is the roots of invasion taken by the Mongols during their conquest of Khwarezmia, and you can see that they hit Afghanistan, Central Asia, as well as northeastern Iran pretty hard, and during these invasions they killed a significant proportion of the indigenous Iranian population of the region. Thus, the Mongols did indeed destroy much of the intellectual centers of the ancient Iranian world, and their invasion killed around 50% of the total population of Khwarezmia, including 90% in Iranian Central Asia. The bloodlust of the Mongols killed off the ancient Khwarezmians as well as the Sogdians, the Bactrians, and also other groups concentrated around Marv. This is why there are very few Iranians left in Central Asia today. Now up next, I'd like to take another look of the genetics of the Hazaras, and to begin, here is the source population I will be using. So there's a Sintashta source, a BMAC source, a Siberian East Asian source, and an Indian source. Here are the results for the Hazaras, and you can see that they're on average 43.2% East Asian or Siberian Neolithic, 24.2% BMAC, 23.2% Sintashta, and 9.4% Indian. What these results prove is that the Hazaras are primarily an Asiatic population. To conclude, this analysis took a look at the threat posed by the Hazaras to the Iranian people, as well as the cultural and ethnic milieu of Iran. Also, phenotypic and genetic evidence was presented to prove that the Hazaras are completely alien to Iran. That's essentially it for this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.